Good morning, everyone. My name is Shane Matheny, and I'm one of the outside sales rep for Graphic Solution Group that handles the Dallas, part of the Dallas area, east all the way over to Monroe, Louisiana, and Arkansas. And I've kind of coordinated this meeting this morning. I want to thank everybody for attending. I know that the staff here, the outside staff here at GSG, has attended this 4-week training session that you guys have registered for, and we felt like it was such a great presentation that we wanted to offer to our customers. So I'm glad that all of you guys have taken a few minutes out of your time this morning to get a little extra training and learn a little bit more about SignComp and extrusions and things of that nature. It is a little dark in my office this morning. We've got some severe thunderstorms coming through Dallas, so if you hear some thundering and maybe a dog barking, I apologize in advance. But as many of you guys probably already have met Dave Brahoff, and if you hadn't, he's the guy at all the trade shows that by the third day you can't understand what he's saying because he's lost his voice. He is so passionate about SignComp, the company, extrusions, and specifically our industry. So I'm going to pass it off to Dave. Just a couple of housekeeping things. If you guys have any questions that you would like to ask during the meeting in the chat room, just go in the chat. I'll be monitoring the chat room. If there's questions come up, we will ask Dave. We will also have approximately 5 minutes, maybe a little longer, as long as you guys want to be on here, window to ask questions at the end of the presentation. So I'll quit talking now and let Dave go ahead and take it over. I'm going to mute mine and also stop my video, Dave, so you can. It's all yours, brother.
All right, sounds good. Well, as Shane mentioned, GSG has invited me to kind of follow up on some of the Zoom meetings that we've been doing. I'm sure through all of this pandemic, many of you have joined other presentations. The one we're going to go through here this morning is just an introduction to SignComp. We're going to start with the simplest product line, our standard product line, kind of introduce you to some of the profiles, some of the features and benefits, but it's really a brief overview. Would like to invite you that your representatives from GSG have all reached out to you to invite you to this, but if there's additional information, if there's further training, please just reach out to them. We're all going to follow up afterwards, get you an email, get you our contact information, make sure you're comfortable reaching out to us. You have additional questions specific to your fabrication, your upcoming projects, please just reach out. Because this is a general overview. We're going to touch on a lot of subjects, but again, keeping it to a 20-minute time frame and just glancing over some of the features and benefits that we feel are important to share with you. With that, we'll kind of get things started. Hopefully. This is the standard product line, SignComp extrusions, aluminum extrusions. We encompass 4 different product lines. The standard product line is a 1-part, 2-part body and retainer system. It allows you to slide your faces in and out for service by removing your retainers. The assembly options are engineered inside this extrusion to allow you to either weld the mitered corners, mechanically fasten them with screws and bolts, or use an engineered adhesive for bonding. There is a simple divider system. It accommodates any divider that you're currently using, but there's also a system that allows you to slide our divider systems into place without having to weld. Gives you a mechanical fastening. The benefit to that is that we can down the road adjust that. We can then remove those screws and interchange that tenant panel. This system also allows you to attach optional retainers to either extend depth or vandal type systems. So it's a very versatile 1-part, 2-part body system. It gives you multiple applications for rigid faces, either plastic or aluminum face solutions. commonly used in a single face or a monument or a pylon application. Where the pylons are limited is to the size of the face commonly, is that if these pylons are extended into the air over 20 feet, over 10 feet, how convenient is it at this point to remove a retainer on the left and the right and slide these large plastic faces out? It may be better to move to a different product line based on the size of your cabinet to hinge that face open. But if the size of the sign allows you to slide the face from the left or the right or both, then the standard product line is a great solution for you. Again, we can remove a retainer, slide a plastic face in, but we can also overlay that retainer with an aluminum face and allow you to route out and push through applications. So commonly an illuminated cabinet. This quick little video is going to kind of show you the assembly of this cabinet, that we're taking the 4 mitered cuts, inserting a structural corner angle, here showing it mechanically fastened with screws, that you would pre-drill those screw holes, insert the fasteners into all 4 corners, and structurally attach the outside frame, inserting your faces, corner keys, realign your retainer system, and then are held on with fasteners, again, on either the left or the right side or both. There is no additional cost to having retainers removed on the left and the right. It really gets down to what is your preference, what is your field survey, what do you require? So if you ordered a kit with 3 sides of the cabinet, being the 1-part system and then just 1 side removable, there is no additional cost if you wanted both sides removable. And that is in a kit option for you. The most common sizes of the 1-part, 2-part with the removable retainer are from double face 12-inch, double face 9-inch, double face 6-inch. There are also 2 single faces available to you, an 8-inch depth as well as a 6-inch depth. The retainers that you're seeing on screen, the top are the 1944 is your most common 2-part retainer. When taking the 1-part, 2-part body system and attaching the 1944 2-part retainer, that is where we give you the options of the 12-inch through the 6-inch depth. If you require additional depth to those cabinets, all we do are add the retainers, the 3 that you see down below. Those are just extensions. All they do is give you additional depth to your cabinet. So by taking the 12-inch body as we move across the top line and adding the extended frame to that, the extended retainer now accommodates a 14-inch depth. By using the large extended retainer, we're now up to a 16-inch or 16 9/16. All we're doing is taking your common retainer and substituting it with an extended retainer. The body remains the same. We're just extending the retainers to accommodate additional depth that your project may require. The extrusion is available commonly in 24-foot 6-inch lengths, but SignComp also offers a service of cutting these kits to your job specifications. This is allowing you labor savings. Once these kits are drop shipped to your facility, they will come with these parts and pieces that you see on screen. Obviously a top, a bottom, a left and a right, and all the assembly hardware required, excuse me, to assemble this kit. Optional dividers. It is available in mill finish as you see on screen or a pre-painted bronze. That is the only color that SignComp will offer, and all of the standard products are available in that Duranautic bronze, Quaker bronze, or dark bronze color. The assembly of the cabinet. Commonly, the confusion comes in because it has multiple pieces. The top, the bottom are referred to as the 1-part. That means the retainer is extruded as 1 piece. So the top and the bottom are commonly used as the 1-part extrusion. On the sides where we need to remove the retainers so you can slide your face out for service, we call that a 2-part body. To that two-part body is where we attach that removable retainer. Internally, inside that cabinet, are several what we call provisions, where we slide in structural corner angles. We slide in corner keys to give that cabinet, that frame, rigidity. Those same inner body flanges are also used to attach your structure. So as your pole is suspended through your cabinet, your saddle plates are then bolted. As steel plates can be bolted to aluminum, there are inner body flanges that accommodate those bolts. Depending on the width of your cabinet, you may require inner body supports and sag rods. Commonly, those sag rods are placed 4 foot on center. There are additional structural design details that SignComp can offer you based on your assembly. But the larger the cabinet, the more internal steel or aluminum, your choice, structure that would be added to the inside of the SignComp aluminum frame. As I mentioned, there are multiple ways that this cabinet was engineered for shop fabrication. You can insert the structural corner angle and weld it off at the corner. That's the picture showed on the left-hand side. Also in the center, there are internal ribs that raise that angle off the frame and allow you to inject adhesives inside the pre-drilled holes on that structural corner angle. Or as we showed in the video, that you can screw or bolt or fasten that cabinet together by drilling holes and using the hardware that comes with the kit. So it gives you multiple options depending on your shop practice, also depending on the size of the cabinet, what is required, the engineering behind the cabinet. It is as strong in a 4x8 cabinet using the fasteners or the adhesive or the weld. Tenon panels, very common in these standard cabinets to see multiple tenon panels, whether they're single face, monument, or pylon applications. The one thing that SignComp accommodates inside this extrusion is gives you a provision where you can lock in slotted corner angles inside your divider. Those dividers are then slid into the retainer. Those are now adjustable dividers that can be slid horizontally or attached to themselves vertically and subdivide your frame, your cabinet, into multiple tenon spaces. These are not required to be welded into position. Those are pre-drilled holes in those slotted corner angles so that you can attach them to the retainer, hide those fasteners inside your cabinet, and at any time remove those screws, remove those fasteners, and rearrange those dividers inside that frame. Again, saving you time on the project, saving you time for installation, and also if faces have to be replaced from damage or just re-imaged, very easily removing a retainer and adjusting that divider system.
Hey, Dave, we have a couple of questions that come in before you jump to that next slide. The first one being, if I had a job and I wanted to send to SignComp, would SignComp design that job for me using the SignComp materials that we've been talking about so far?
Yes, absolutely. That is one of the benefits that I'm very proud of here at SignComp, is that you can contact GSG, you can contact SignComp directly based on the size of your cabinet. We will go through a series of questions. And really what it gets down to is, what is the height and the width? Commonly, the most detailed question is, what is the depth that you require? Is this an illuminated cabinet? So that we can size this cabinet based on the extrusions that are available to you. So based on your size of your project and the budget of that project, there are multiple options within the SignComp product line that we can offer you. Now, when we will just facilitate our extrusions to your project requirements. Does that answer the question?
I believe so. I believe so. Also, we have another one. We noticed that you have two color options. You have mill finish and bronze. Obviously, the first reason to do bronze is if the cabinet's going to be bronze. Are there advantages of buying bronze material instead of mill finish material in the production side of things?
The pre-painted bronze does come with an additional cost, but what it allows you is time savings. The Duranotic bronze is referred to as a primer coat, although in many applications it is just taken right from your fabrication and mounted right to the wall, used in post and panel applications. But we refer to it as a primer coat because there are two steps in finishing and preparing your surface for paint. Is the mill finish in the process, it comes right from the mill, is why it's referred to as mill finish. It will have slight blemishes, not gouges, but slight blemishes that are commonly sanded out of the surface and only the exposed surface of the extrusion. It is also an oily process. If you've ever handled extrusion in the past, you will notice that there's a slight film. It gives a black residue to your hands. So all of that first step, you have to clean off that oily residue and then scuff the surface of the outside of the frame to receive the paint. Now that you've scuffed it, again, you have to clean that surface and prepare it for your first painting step. Commonly, your first step is a primer coat. After your primer coat, you would then again go back and lightly scuff that surface and put on your final coat of paint. So that is just time consuming. It also starts the process of that. We have now just taken that cabinet into your paint booth, which is usually congested with other projects, into that paint booth twice. What it does with the pre-painted offering is eliminates that first step. You now just go into the scuff process, clean it and paint it, and we've eliminated the time and duplicating that process.
Okay, I think that's got the questions for now. So,
all right. In all the slides that we kind of reviewed, really what it's offering you is a simple 1-part, 2-part cabinet assembly. We can take you from very simple corner angle construction, give you an offering for internal support for steel or aluminum bracing, offer you optional divider systems. But really what it comes down to is the cost analysis. And we've had to interject, I've worked with GSG to introduce some of the numbers you're going to see on this sheet. It is just a very simple breakdown of aluminum sheet and angle assembly versus SignComp kit. If you purchase a kit from SignComp, we're going to take a very easy example of 4x8, 6-inch deep, single face cabinet. In our analysis, on the left-hand side, you'll see the aluminum angle and sheet. We've taken 48 feet of 2-inch angle. Again, there's so many different step processes, different fabrication in your facility. We're giving you a reference point of how many lineal feet it would take with a 2-inch angle and sheet stock 063 to build a 4x8, 6-inch deep single face cabinet. Again, you may be doing this with steel, you may be doing this with tube stock, but we're giving you an aluminum angle reference. On the right-hand side, at this point, whether you've contacted SignComp, we've come to the agreement you're looking for a 6-inch single face cabinet, a 4x8 cabinet, miter cut, packaged, shipped to your facility with all the assembly hardware. Cost analysis, you'll see that material cost for the angle and sheet is somewhere around $200. You've got a slight increase, almost 28% at $289 by buying an aluminum extruded kit. The features and benefits are why there's an increase in cost. Where you're really going to see the savings is in labor. It is your overall shop cost, overall shop practice of where you would commonly see the savings using SignComp extrusion. We've plugged in a labor rate of $55 per hour. Obviously, that is not just their wages, that includes all of their benefits. Again, We can go back and forth on what are the overall costs, whether they're more or less. We came to the agreement that $55 is just an average number that we would plug in to show you an analysis. So going down the angle and sheet fabrication, we've allotted 2 hours to pull the material, cut the material, or break the material, but basically get your cabinet ready for assembly. And then 2.5 hours to weld that body and assemble that frame. We are just building the frame at this point. We are not addressing dividers. We are not addressing internal saddle plates or sag rods. We are just putting the outside dimension frame together. With the SignComp kit, we're allowing 3/4 of an hour. I feel that's a rather aggressive number, but what we did was give you the opportunity of, let's say it's your first time you've ever seen a package arrive from SignComp. This 4x8 kit comes in this package with all this assembly hardware. It's like the night before Christmas. You're trying to figure out where all these parts and pieces go. That 3/4 of an hour actually allows for this. To lay out your cabinet as we showed in that one photo, that here's your top, here's your bottom, here's your left, your right, your removable retainers, and your hardware. At that point, the assembly drawings that are provided with each kit will walk you through an exploded view of how to assemble this cabinet. 3/4 of an hour allows for that, to insert the corner angle, either inject the adhesive or weld off that angle. So in the lower column below, looking at your total labor hours of 4.5 with angle and sheet fabrication, total hours of fabricating a kit, 3/4 of an hour. Total labor cost at $55 an hour, around $250, $247 for angle and sheet, $41 for labor involved in assembling a kit. There's where the cost analysis of labor and materials really comes into play. You'll see a total savings using SignComp extrusion of about $117, commonly about $120, which is a 26% savings. Your total time savings using an extrusion, saving 3 3/4 hours in this analysis, is an 83% and 80% increase in time savings. What that equates to is labor. The gentleman that is welding or fabricating is usually one of your key individuals that's using one of the angle and sheet fabrication. That key individual now is freed up to either produce more kits, but truly increase the production, job flow, and total cost of your project. So that's what this sheet is kind of giving you an overview. That material costs are very commonly known, that extrusion is more expensive than angle and sheet, but it's the time saving. It's the engineering that's involved. There is additional time saving that once you get into building the internal structure, that the provisions, the legs, the internal body structure that's already provided in the extrusion quickly gets you to an assembly process to insert your saddle plates, your internal supports, and sag rods. So overall savings really becomes efficiency. We give you the efficiency. And again, I think my favorite part of extrusion is it becomes very common. Once you assemble a 6-inch single face cabinet, it is very similar practice to assemble a 12-inch deep double face cabinet. The practice becomes the same. The internal body structure is inserted exactly the same. The fabrication becomes the same. It's just that we have a double face, which would now have 2 retainers rather than 1 removable retainer. So it becomes very redundant time and time again that you become nothing but more efficient every time you build an extruded cabinet with a kit. Again, it's available in lengths, but we're giving you a kit assembly practice process. Shane, at this point, are there any questions popping up on screen?
Yeah, we have a couple more. We have one. What adhesive do you recommend for assembly of the cabinets?
It's not that that's a tough question for me. It's just that it's not politically correct. Lord Adhesive is a very common, everyone knows the name. There are other adhesives out there on the market in this day and age. The adhesives that if it's approved for aluminum to an aluminum bond, the key to using any adhesive is clean. We kind of went through that when it referred to paint. What you don't want to have is an oily residue on the inside of that cabinet as you slide in that structural corner angle and then inject the adhesive to an oily surface. It's very simple with an isopropyl alcohol to clean that surface down to the bare bones. Make sure that the surface is clean. And then I have a lot more experience with Lord adhesive than I do any of the other, but I'm not saying any of the other wouldn't work for you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. We also have a question. Does the $289 include in that extrusion cost? Does that include the shipping?
It does not. The shipping would be in addition. So based on the size of the cabinet, the weight of the cabinet, the size of the package that we're shipping to your facility, we did a cost analysis in case this question would come up. So again, looking at the labor material costs, that if you take a 4x8 cabinet, commonly, whether it's 12-inch or 6-inch, it's about $100 to ship that to any of the GSG locations. And that's kind of how we did that. We just kind of looked at it that within the time frame, you know, the 2 to 3 days that it would commonly take to get that kit drop shipped to your facility, that it's about $100, which takes your labor and material costs from $447, say $450, to labor cost and materials with a kit. They are very similar at this point. Where the efficiency now comes in is the time savings. It's not so much the material on this, it's that commonly the material being drop shipped from SignComp to any of the GSG locations, we're giving you an average cost of materials across the board. What we're getting to is the efficiency of the time that we're going to save you in the assembly.
Great. Also, we had someone say, Dave, if you guys could offer 3 additional services: paint the cabinet, assemble the cabinet, and install the cabinet, they could focus a little bit more on sales. Think you can get SignComp to start doing that for us?
Well, the history of SignComp is that we service the sign industry exclusively. Our mission here is not to make your job that easy. It's only to make you more efficient. So no, I doubt very much you'll ever see us assemble. Actually, I can tell you, we will never assemble. We will never paint. We just offer what we refer to as very efficient tools to each sign shop. Shane, the biggest thing we don't want to do is have any Joe Blow sitting in his garage being able to knock out this kit and purchasing it from SignComp. We want this to be part of our industry. And really all we offer is a tool to make it more efficient, to give you more production.
And when you refer to Joe Blow in his garage, you're referring to the end user, the Joe's Pool Hall or the restaurant or something like that, being able to.
Absolutely. That if you could just buy a kit from SignComp that comes in a package, all you need now is an electrician. Last thing we want to ever do is interfere with the production and the efficiency of one of our customers.
Right. Dave, what about once you ship it or once you receive the order, how long is the turnaround time from the time GSG places that order with SignComp to when it would ship and obviously the delivery would vary where it was going. Obviously, if it's going to go to Michigan, it's going to be a whole lot quicker than Dallas. But how long is it? What's the turnaround time?
It's very common. From the time that we receive the approval, the PO from GSG, based on size. It doesn't take us any longer to cut a 2x3 cabinet than it does a 10x20. Very honestly, that is not the slowdown in any of the production. If it is special miter cuts, special kerf cuts, that could cause delay. But for a common rectangle square cabinet, very easily SignComp will have that off our dock within 2 to 3 days. And then at that point, It's commonly a 2-day ship point to the majority of the GSG locations. Cincinnati is a 1-day, but there are 2-day points, and potentially, let's be honest, it could be 3. In this new day and age, everything's being shipped. So, but within 5 working days, you would have your material delivered to your facility very commonly. What we do offer at the point that we take your order is we can give you a very accurate estimate of tracking of your kit will ship on this day, your kit will arrive on this day. And unless there are some unknown shipping delays, which again, you will be brought up to speed. If there's ever a delay, you will get an email from SignComp commonly informing you that your material is stuck in Oklahoma. But we'll find out why. We track that. We want to know where your product is, but we will tell you at the time you place your order that you should receive this in X amount of days.
Okay, great, great. We have another question. How does the divider bar system work for vertical cross-divided tenant sections?
What it does is the divider in itself has that same slot inside the divider that receives a corner angle that we have slotted. That slot now slides down the divider itself so that we can stack vertically another divider right on top of your horizontal divider. So it'll either slide into the frame, the retainer system of the actual cabinet, horizontally or vertically, or there's a provision inside the divider as well that will receive those slotted corner angles and subdivide that cabinet as many times as is required, but the slotted corner angle fits into the retainer as well as the divider.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Well, let's see if there's any more questions, guys, just to type them in real quick as we're starting to wind down a little bit. I do have another question coming in. What type of files do you require for both engineer drawings and quoting?
With the standard product line, it's really not that complex. If we're getting into curve cutting, in other words, we're going to go in and cut relief joints into these frames and make a circle out of this framing system, then commonly circles and common ovals, all we really need to know are the outside dimensions. If they're getting into more complex shapes, then we're going to require a DXF or a DWG type file. But initially, all you need to send over are your concept drawings, your concept dimensions of this. Allow our design team to take a look at that. If we can pull the information from a PDX type file, then we'll let you know at that time. If there is more complexity to this or a little more detail, we need to be sure that we're both literally on the same page. We will contact you and say we require additional information.
Okay, fantastic, fantastic. Well, that kind of wraps up the questions that I have. Let me just double check here, make sure that there's no other.
Well, while you've got that question, I'm just going to click on this slide again. And what it does is just simply walk you through the corner angle assembly of the 1-part, 2-part body, showing you here again, mechanical fasteners in each corner, or this could be used with adhesive in the pre-drilled holes, or this could be welded right into that provision as well. That inner body flange that's holding that angle is also what would support your internal structure. Corner keys give you an alignment to all your retainer systems, and then attached with fasteners, whether it's a single face or a double face, the assembly is very common.
Dave, there's a couple of other things that I just kind of wanted to pass along in the comments section. One person, and I'm going to call him out, David Hamilton. He wanted to say thanks. He's used SignComp for years, and the folks are on the phone are both helpful and very knowledgeable. So, and I will say that as a GSG rep and a former sign company owner, that is the truth. The easiest thing to do is get information from SignComp by calling customer service. They're fantastic.
I appreciate that comments from both of you. That truly is what we feel we pride ourselves in, is that we understand that our product offering can be a bit complex as you go through our catalog or join us online. If you don't have one of our current product guides, there is a new product guide that encompasses all of the 4 products we offer. Please just reach out to GSG or myself or the SignComp team. Call our customer service toll free. Allow us to send you that information, that hard copy of that product guide. It is also available online at www.signcomp.com. But please, navigating through all of our information can be a bit taxing, can be a bit complex. Don't hesitate to call SignComp customer service. Allow us to assist you with your product. Allow us to assist you navigate that website. The more frequently we communicate, the quicker time passes. From your designers to your engineers, your fabricators, your installers, reach out. Our design team, our engineers are all on staff, and we're here to take your calls.
And I did have another question come in, which I guess is a really good thing. I like questions. On the one of the earlier slides where you were showing the retainers, there was one that acted like an extension. What was that item number?
The extended retainer?
Yes.
It is a 2-part extended retainers, because remember, again, we still want to remove the frame. So it is a 1-part, 2-part system. So again, as we were just saying, the complexity of SignComp, although it is an extended retainer, and let me see if I can just pull this up rather than confuse everyone.
We also had while you're looking that up, we had a question as well. Will this presentation be available afterwards? Yes, GSG is recording this, and we are going to, I'm not exactly sure how we're going to get it out to everyone at this point, but we are recording this presentation, and we will be able to provide that at some point for you guys. We'll have to send it over to our marketing department, and they'll work their magic, and we'll be able to get that out to you guys.
Another answer to that, Shane, is I have no issue whatsoever of sharing the presentation. Of course, it's not the recorded version, but it will give you these parts, pieces, part numbers, the assembly slides will work. GSG rep, or give us a call here at SignComp and refer to any of these slides, and we can walk you through it. The answer to the question of the 2-part extended retainer, you'll notice down in the left-hand corner, part number 1940. That is a 1-piece. Remember, there's a 1-piece, 2-piece system to this SignComp standard product line. You're still going to want to remove a retainer on the left or the right. So the part next to it, the 1940, is a 1-piece. It would go commonly married to the top and the bottom. You still want a removable retainer on the left and the right. You would combine that with part number 1955 and your removable retainer 1944. This again allows you to remove a retainer on the left or the right and slide that face out for service.
All right, fantastic. Well, I've got 940 right now, and I know we told everybody it'd take about 30 minutes, and we know that your time is valuable. So wait a minute. Michael was wondering if he could use that 1955 as an extension to make existing cabinets deeper.
I'm sorry, try that again.
Can he use that 1955 to, as an extension to make some of his existing cabinets deeper?
Absolutely. All of these retainer systems, whether in the standard product line or the commercial product line, if you'll notice, look at the drawing of the 1940, the dark black section is screwed to our cabinet. You can screw that. It's a retrofit to any existing structure. So yes, you can take an aluminum or steel existing cabinet or something you fabricate without a SignComp body in your facility and attach this 1-part, 2-part system, as well as slide in the dividers. So the retainers are available to retrofit to your existing cabinetry or existing structures.
Okay, great. Well, we're going to wrap it up right now, guys. I do want to remind everyone, this is a 4-week seminar. We will, again, next Tuesday at 9 o'clock. The next webinar is about depths of cabinets and eliminating shadows. So I know that's been a big issue with internal structures and things like that. So just we look forward to seeing you. Please feel free to reach out to your outside GSG rep. And if you have any questions, or you can reach out to Dave specifically if you would like. But we look forward to seeing you guys again next week. And at that point, at this point, I guess that's going to be, we're just going to go ahead and wrap it up. And Dave, I appreciate your help and your time. And for everyone on the meeting, thank you guys so much for being here. And we look forward to seeing you next week. And you guys have a great rest of your week and weekend.
Just to add to that, thank you very much. I appreciate your time. Truly respect that you've all got something better to do today. Sharing a little bit of time with us to kind of clarify some of these details. Next week, we get into a little bit more. This is a nice introduction to the series. So again, thank you. Enjoy your week. Thank you to GSG for allowing us to have this time. Take care.